November 8, 2016. November 8, 2016 was one of the most demoralizing days of my life. It was also, in ways that have become impossible to ignore, devastating, not just for America in general, but for American conservatism in particular. I had never imagined that Donald Trump could be elected president. If you had suggested to me before 2016 that such a thing was possible, I would have replied that it was too far-fetched to contemplate. It sounded like the plot of a dystopian science fiction movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger would have been a more plausible president, and he wasn't even born in America. I didn't think Trump would win a single Republican primary. Sure, he had been polling strongly in 2015, but I figured that when the actual balloting began, my fellow Republicans would sober up and realize that the reality TV star and real estate mogul was not remotely qualified for the nation's highest office. Trump had offended my sensibilities from the very first day of the campaign, June 16, 2015, when he had come down the garish escalator at Trump Tower to castigate Mexican immigrants in crudely xenophobic terms. "They're bringing drugs," he said. "They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people." A month later, he launched an odious attack on Senator John McCain, a man whose presidential campaign I had been proud to advise in 2008. This is what Trump, who had gotten 5 draft deferments, had to say about a war hero who had endured nearly 6 years of hellish captivity in North Vietnam. "He's not a war hero. He was a war hero because he was captured. I like people who weren't captured." A few months after that, in November 2015, Trump hit another low, mocking a disabled reporter who had the temerity to question his bogus claims to have seen thousands of Muslims in Jersey City, New Jersey, cheering as the World Trade Center came down. Trump then lied about what he had done, even though his cruel japery was recorded on videotape. There was no possibility, I figured, that the party of Lincoln, Roosevelt, and Reagan would endorse Trump for president. Was there? When the primaries began and Trump began winning state after state, I thought I had entered the twilight zone. The torment worsened when he locked up the nomination, and Republican after Republican dutifully lined up to endorse his candidacy after having lambasted him in the harshest terms possible. Former Governor Rick Perry had called Trump a cancer on conservatism before endorsing said cancer and being rewarded with a cabinet post. Former Governor Bobby Jindal had called Trump a madman who must be stopped before endorsing said madman. Senator Rand Paul had called him a delusional narcissist before endorsing said narcissist. Most painful of all for me, Senator Marco Rubio, whose presidential campaign I had served as a foreign policy advisor, went from denouncing Trump as a con artist to endorsing said con artist.